the high-stakes trade talks between the U.S. and China. China's key advisor to President Xi Jinping is in Washington today, meeting with his American counterparts. Treasury Secretary Steve Mnuchin is leading the U.S. delegation, which will include U.S. Trade Representative Robert Lighthizer, Commerce Secretary Wilbur Ross. White House National Trade Council Director Peter Navarro was sidelined from the negotiations after clashing with Secretary Mnuchin when they were in China, yelling at Mnuchin, according to reports. But as the news wore on yesterday, reports now indicate that Navarro will be at that trade meeting. Mike Murphy, what are you expecting from this second round of negotiations? Because President Trump yesterday in some tweets, we're talking about ZTE, bailing out ZTE by letting it buy U.S. parts, but essentially giving it a third chance. President Trump says did link that rescue of ZTE to broader trade talks with China, but that contradicts Wilbur Ross, and it contradicts some of the other people in the White House.
It does. And, first of all, you have egos in the room. You're going to have some disagreement. You're going to have some shouting. I think that's fine, working towards a resolution. This is a negotiation, and I think that's where we started, and that's still where we are. But remember, we've discussed it in the past, Dagan. I think any sort of negotiation that starts from a point of we have an unfair deal, and we want to work toward getting a fair deal. That's completely fine. If China says, well, we don't want to give you a fair deal, therefore we're going to start a trade war, so be it. But we're going to go in there and do what's best in the interest of the United States and United States economy.
But we're working from a position of weakness because we do have a trade deficit with China of $375 billion. President Trump seems fixated on a number of reducing that. But we're the ones who fired the first shot with these steel and aluminum tariffs, which were unveiled on March the 1st. And the issue with ZTE is one of national security. This is a company that is owned by the Chinese government, that they sold telecom equipment with U.S. technology in it to 5 embargoed nations, including Iran and North Korea. They were fined $1.2 billion by the Obama administration. They were supposed to reprimand the employees. They didn't do that. They lied about it, and now we're giving them a third chance. And even Christopher Wray, the FBI director, said yesterday that he worries about undetected espionage with this company. So why give them a pass?
Well, let's start from the beginning. I don't know. I wouldn't agree that we're coming from weakness. I would say that we're coming from a point of we have a bad deal and we want to improve the deal. So I think that's not necessarily a weakness.
Don't you think this is a bargaining chip, though, that by going forward with this? I know you've just listed all the bad things that have gone on with this company, but this is a huge bargaining chip, especially because they have such a tight deadline to reduce those deficits, a number that President Trump is fixated on. So maybe this is an opportunity for the United States to say, hey, look, we're helping ZTE out because of the number of jobs.
But we should get the world if we used ZTE as a bargaining chip. We should get China stepping up and basically denuclearizing the Korean Peninsula.
Right. Well, maybe that
North
is what's
Korea.
happening.
Maybe, but again, because this is such a handout to China.
It is.
And potentially weakens national security. And that's why Wilbur Ross, the Commerce Secretary, was saying that this is a separate issue, that it's not part of trade negotiations. So there is some disagreement within the administration over the handling of this.
You hope that national security is not a negotiation tool between this. So I think really, when you look at it, at the end of the day, the United States is going to have a better trade deal with China when this is over than we had when it started. And I think
I just would encourage people not to freak out right now, because remember, this is what the president likes. You have two cabinet members going at it. The president likes to bring both sides to the table, let them duke it out. Remember, this is a businessman, so he's used to having different people within the, on his cabinet come together and duke it out, and then he decides to make that decision. We're just now seeing it publicly. This happens all the time, but this is an unconventional president.
Just speaking of President Trump, I want to bring you what he was tweeting yesterday. When he was defending his stance on ZTE, he hit back against the mainstream media. The Washington Post and CNN have typically written false stories about our trade negotiations with China. Nothing has happened with ZTE except as it pertains to the larger trade deal. Our country has been losing hundreds of billions a year with China. We have not seen China's demands yet, which should be few. in that previous U.S. administrations have done so poorly in negotiating. China has seen our demands. There has been no folding, as the media would love people to believe. The meetings haven't even started yet. The U.S. has very little to give because it has given so much over the years. China has much to give. But, Mike, to this point, this is why there is outrage over ZTE. I'm surprised, or I'm sure that his national security advisors are talking to him about this ZTE issue. The ZTE and Huawei are such dangers to the U.S. in terms of espionage, in terms of spying on Americans potentially, that those phones aren't sold on military bases. That's how grave an issue is. This is a company that's controlled indirectly by the Chinese government through a series of shell corporations, including defense companies. So I'm sure that, but you get into this issue of who's whispering in the president's ear at any given point, and that tends to sway him. And people are clamoring for access. It's why you see so many leaks, because they're trying to drive the narrative outside of the White House walls.
Or undermine each other.
Right.
For sure. But, I mean, again, back to national security, you hope that whatever is going on in these negotiations, national security is not being compromised. And I'm going to believe it's not. There's enough people there between, starting with the president and the rest of the cabinet. Nobody wants to put the United States at risk. I think, quite the contrary, they're trying to get the best deal for the United States and U.S. citizens. And
yeah,
I think that's
I don't see
happen.
Bolton and, Mattis buckling on this issue.
But they're not in the meeting. That's the issue. And it hurts U.S. sanctions policy at a time when we just pulled out of the Iran deal, and we're going to be laying on additional sanctions to anybody essentially doing business with Iran. So, again, if you want to, you better walk that tough talk when it comes to sanctions. And this is a third pass for ZTE.
So you are pretty much saying that if it's not a security issue, then ZTE shouldn't be, it's overblown? The concerns are overblown?
I think really what it is that it's part of the overall negotiation that the president is going to use and the cabinet members are going to use to get a better deal for the U.S. So I don't know how it turns out, but it's definitely not going to be where they say, hey, this is a national security risk. Let's pass on that in order to save a few dollars here or there. That's not going to happen.
So far, we're lucky the markets, the Russell 2000 hit a record high yesterday. It's up roughly 7% since the steel and aluminum tariffs were announced. So, but again, this ham-handed trade policy and this, now we know, clear infighting among the trade representatives and financial advisors within the White House, it disrupts business. Farmers, manufacturers, yeah, they're sitting back. You've seen it in every Federal Reserve.
Yeah,
there's a reason, though, when you look at, you point out the Russell 2000, which focuses on U.S. business, not multinationals.
Right, that doesn't need imports.
What about the low...
that are hitting all-time highs. So I would say that what that tells you is that the small and medium-sized businesses in the United States are feeling more confident they have in a long time.